I have a problem with the freaking waitress or waiter arguing with me about what I asked for, even if you're wrong. Like, you don't argue with the customer.
I agree not to argue.
You should be, when they do that, the tip immediately goes down. I'm not gonna not tip unless you're just a butthole. But I've never not tipped. I write notes. I say, George, you would have gotten a tip, but you had a bad attitude.
Oh no,
you
George.
never came until recently.
And what on average, probably about $5.
Yeah, yes, he's true. We have gone to really when I first met him, he said, I want to take you to Ruth Chris. I was like, oh, this man is so fancy, hey. So I went to Ruth Chris, this man tipped the people like $5. I was so embarrassed.
Hey, I'm
he said, dang, look, the bill came, and he was like, dang. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Come here.
Hey, I'm trying to do my intro. What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel, and today I'm doing a reaction video about tipping. Tipping, she used to be a waitress, so she knows a lot about tipping. So anyway, y'all, we're gonna jump right into the video, and this video is about giving up them dollars to the people who make you satisfied at these restaurants. However, there's sometimes you tip and sometimes you don't. And also the proper places to tip. So we're gonna talk about that too.
Yes.
So I will just stay tuned for that. Yeah, stay tuned. It's about to get fun. All right, y'all, welcome back. So anyway, I was minding my business, and a friend of mine sent me a video that was on TikTok. This video got like 4.9 million views, almost 5 million. I'm sure by the time that you're seeing this video, it's probably at 5 million. Anyway, this video on TikTok was talking about tipping, and it was very interesting to me because she made a good point. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna let y'all see the video and tell me what y'all think. She actually made 2 videos, but I think the first one's the best. And check it out, y'all. Her name is, let me give her a shout out because, you know, we want to do that. Realistic.recovery. Y'all go follow her on TikTok.
Go follow her on TikTok.
Yeah. So anyway, here it goes.
Has gotten out of control. And I just want to preface this by saying that I always tip 20% like standards. I went to this like local little, it's like a burger and fry place, kind of like the local version of McDonald's. So like chicken tenders and fries, right? I get up to the pay window and she's like, how much do you want to tip? And I'm just like, what? And she's like, yeah, did you want to leave a tip? And she's like pointing to them. And I was like, oh no, not today. And then I just felt really uncomfortable. But like, homegirl, what am I gonna tip you for? I'm in the fucking drive-thru. Oh my God. I'm sorry to say this, but tipping culture has gotten out of control.
Oops, sorry, y'all. Anyway, so anyway, y'all, so yeah, so, what do you think of that? Do you think that...
I think tipping culture has absolutely gotten out of control.
You believe that?
And that's coming from someone that tips way more than they need to every single time. Because I was a server for a while, and I know that it sucks when people do not tip you.
Can you look at our people a little bit sometimes? Sorry,
I'm painting my nails, everyone. I'm giving myself a manicure because I'm poor.
Oh gosh, she gave you her info.
Did you like my song?
So anyway, you guys, so Zahar used to work at
I've been a server a couple of times at a couple of different restaurants. I won't say where, but you know, I've experienced people not tipping me at all sometimes at a full service restaurant. That is
full service.
That's completely different though than people wanting a tip from a fast food place. That is weird. And you know what? The last week or so I was at Disney World. Yeah, so I was at Disney World for the last week or so, and I thought it was interesting that so there's Starbucks at Disney World, and then there's also Joffrey's, which is a coffee place that has multiple locations around. Like there's at least 2 locations at every Disney theme park. And you know, when I used to work at Disney World, when I worked there, tipping the Joffrey's people, if you wanted to tip them, you just put it in the bucket. But now you pay with a card, it's on a kiosk.
Oh, they got high tech.
They did get high tech.
You're like so compelled when you pull out the credit card.
And you know what? I went to Joffrey's 8 times.
And you tipped 8 times?
I tipped every single time. Because I felt obligated because the kiosk thing told me.
Oh yeah, because it's like, do you want to do $1, $2,
Yes.
$3? It's
But
like,
when I worked there, which was not that long ago, it was a few years ago, that was not a thing. But I just felt obligated because I knew, like, oh, you're not getting paid that much to do this, because I used to work there. So I said, I guess I'll tip. But every single
But they're
time,
not like calculating every time you went up to Joffrey's, which was sad because you went 8 times now.
I went so many times.
Right.
I went to Joffrey's
And so they're not
every
like,
day.
but maybe they,
Sometimes
I feel
twice
like
a
they should
day.
take like a snapshot of the person who tipped for that day, and that's your tip for the day. Instead of like 8 different times you visit Joffrey's, you have to tip. Like really, that's like, you can end up spending your whole freaking
But not only
just on Joffrey.
when you go to
tips.
Joffrey's, you wait in line for such a long time at this point. Like I waited in line for.
So it's not a pleasure experience.
No.
You're stressed out.
It's-
So why are we tipping Joffrey's?
The line is shorter than the Starbucks line, but it's still very long, and I don't want to tip them. But also I feel obligated to do so, knowing their conditions. So I say, okay, I'm going to tip them. Even though I feel like at a coffee place, you should not be tipping.
No, and especially if you're waiting in a long line, you have bad service. Like, what
But
do you?
the thing is, they're usually pretty good. Like, I order my drink, and they have it to me in a few minutes. But also at the same time, I'm just like, isn't this your job?
Right.
Which is why in that video with that girl, I do not agree.
By the way, this is my daughter, my oldest one. In case if you guys don't know who
Hi.
she is. Her name's Zahara.
I'm Zahara.
Follow her on Instagram on It's Zahara.
It's _ Zahara. I go by Z most of the time.
Yeah, she disassimilates herself with Loudegange sometimes, and she comes back and she's Loudegange sometimes. So she's like in and out.
Disassimilates.
Yeah.
I just don't live here. I live in Seattle, so I can't be a part of your.
But she does like
If I'm
stuff
here,
with us
I'll
when
do
she's
it.
here. So yeah, she's gonna start singing and stuff too.
Wait,
she has a beautiful
Emma?
voice.
Wait a second.
Okay, let's get back to Tiffany. So anyway, this girl she claimed she went through drive-through, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm just like at a fast food restaurant. I'm not going to say what it is. It's like, it's not McDonald's. You know, like I'm going through McDonald's. And then all of a sudden I come up to this tip bucket after I pay for my food. Well, she goes, the girl actually, didn't she say she pointed to it and was like.
Because that's what they do at Joffrey's too. They're like, look at the screen. A lot of places do that now. They're like, look at the screen. Just do what you need to do on the screen.
But she said there was a bucket. She was like, look, it's right here.
No, she said that it was on the screen.
Oh, it was on the screen, like
And
right
it's
here.
like,
Oh
do you want
yeah,
a tip
that's
or do
like.
you not want a tip? And it makes you feel guilty, especially like people from like the millennial / Gen Z era. We all feel like, oh, yeah, we should probably tip them if that's an option. And I feel like that's what they're preying on.
Yeah.
They don't want, like, we don't want to feel awkward. So
if you go, okay, let's kind of like categorize this. So if you go to a fancy restaurant and you're all dressed up and you get like great service and they're like pulling your chair out, giving you stuff and like giving you where your water goes down, they fill it back up, you know, and they're just really serving you well. Like, what's the normal that you tip for something like that? If you're at a fancy restaurant, do you tip at all?
It also depends on like who you're there with, how many people are in the party. Like, there are a lot of, like, factors that go
Say if it's just you and like somebody else.
Just one other person?
Yeah, and like you get the bill. What percentage would you tip?
Oh, I try and tip at least 20% every single time, at least.
So you're like the girl. So me personally, I feel like if I go out to a restaurant and I got great service, the person's nice and everything, and they're doing exceptionally well, and I see that, but I give them like 20%, sometimes 25.
It
I really do a great job of tipping.
So if they go over
However,
and beyond, if they go over and beyond, obviously, yeah, tip them more. But also, if they don't go over and beyond and they don't give you great service, I still tip at least 20% every time.
Oh no, I do like 18.
No.
If they're not really good.
Have you ever been a server in a restaurant before?
No, I mean if they're not rude, but if they're rude or they're not really paying attention.
Even if they're rude, I do that because of the fact that I was a server before.
But you were a nice server.
But I was a nice server, but also some days are really, really terrible.
But do you ever give them an attitude? Say if I'm there and I ask for a Dr. Pepper, and then they bring me a Pepsi, and then they say, next time you have to ask for a Dr. Pepper because you asked for a Pepsi. And I'm like, I clearly did not. Like, and then they start arguing with me. I have a problem with the freaking waitress or waiter arguing with me about what I asked for, even if you're wrong. Like, you don't argue with the customer.
I agree not to argue with
when
them.
they do that, the tip immediately goes down. I'm not gonna not tip unless you're just a butthole. But I've never not tipped. I write notes. I say, George, you would have gotten a tip, but you had a bad attitude.
Oh no,
You
George.
never came back to the table, and I list on that receipt everything that they did wrong.
Trust me, I know.
So
I'm your daughter.
Right, you know what I do.
I know.
Because guess what? If I don't list it on there, the next person that comes behind me, he's gonna think he's all great because he got a 20% tip and he was a wonderful person, which you were not. So I list all his faults or her faults, and then I say, this is why you're getting $5. Or this is why you get 0. If they just suck, they get 0. But if you're really trying and things just aren't going your way, like say the man in the kitchen burns the freaking enchiladas and you bring them out and you're
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Right, it's not his fault, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they apologize and stuff.
You just have to own up to your mistakes.
Yeah.
One time I went to an Indian restaurant and they gave me peas. When they gave me peas, and I said, "This is delicious. Do you know which item this is?" Because it had peas in it, and he was like, "I don't know."
But what did he do? He tried.
Yes, he was like, "I don't know."
He didn't say, "Look, ma'am, could you please explain to this because I don't know what peas are," with a jerk attitude, And he didn't argue me down and said, "Look, I don't know this until you find out."
All of the meals,
I'm not coming back.
You ordered like 3 or 4 meals,
and I didn't even know the name.
And you were like, "I don't know what it's called, but this is what it looked like." And he kept being like, "Okay, describe it to me in detail. What did it look like? What did it taste like?" And you're guessing, and you're like, there were peas."
And then I said some meat, no, with the spinach and the cheese, and he brought.
And he was like, "Oh, I know her."
Right, it was amazing because he tried.
Also, if you're wondering where she was, shout out to Bayleaf on Sherwood.
Oh yeah, Bayleaf on Sherwood. Y'all must go there in Baton Rouge when you come out here. Shout out to them because their Indian food is marvelous.
It's so good.
Bon appetit. Anyway, so here's another video that she did too. She's quite the fast food. Tipper.
Oh wow, the fast food connoisseur.
Here she goes. You guys, this is a one too.
Hear me out. Employees being underpaid and overworked is not my fault. That is the fault of the employer. It shouldn't be the customer's job to provide compensation when somebody is overworked and underpaid. Instead of shaming the working class for not wanting to tip on literally every good they're provided in the world, How about we just hold corporations accountable for paying their employees a livable wage? Because that's what this is all about. People want to be tipped because they don't make enough money to be doing what they're doing, but why should that burden fall onto us? Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
I 100% agree with her.
Yeah, I kind of agree too that it's like our responsibility. We go in there and we pay for our food, and on top of that, you have to factor in a tip too to make sure you pay these people a salary. So basically, our tip is paying their salary in addition to them working for you basically for free.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah, it's like you're basically having this person work for barely anything.
If you've ever been to Europe, the people there are paid a great wage, and you don't have to tip them.
Right. That's just simple as that.
Being a waiter in other countries is a very lucrative job.
You guys, so go to another country and become a waiter.
Or just get another job. Like, when I realized that people in other countries got paid way more than I was getting paid to be a waiter, I was like, oh, I'm not doing this.
So, like, I feel, like, my job, you know, even if you, like, no one's up there tipping me. I'm doing my job, and I just, like, go home. And it's like, but when I leave my job to go to lunch, every vendor on the street, every, like, place where you can get a drink or anything as far as, like, water, all that, like the little snack machines, you know, and there's somebody there standing up with like a stand with water, or anywhere you go, it's like there's a tip container.
Yeah.
And even when I go to Subway, right? And I go to Subway, it's like these people are so rude at Subway. Can't even. There's like a long line like out the door, and like by the time you get up there, you're so frustrated, and they have nerve enough to ask for a tip. They give you your Subway, which is a commercialized business. Like, they're making money. They should, you know, and then they're asking for the tip, and it's just like one person, the owner's right there getting the tip. So is he giving these tips to everybody, or is he keeping them himself?
Who knows?
That's another problem I have. If you're not directly putting that tip into their pocket.
Well, usually at the end of a night, if you work at a restaurant, everyone splits the tips that are on the computer at a place like that.
But I did know a person who drove vehicles, and he was like a chauffeur or whatever for a company, and the guy was like taking the tips. The guy would get like really good tips, like $100 a night or something, like from one individual, and because he was a really nice, good chauffeur. And apparently his boss, who owned the cars and the chauffeuring company, said, I heard about all your tips, so you're going to have to start like turning those in and sharing them with me.
It's just
and he's not even there, like giving the good service, so why are you taking this man's tips?
It's just like, this is completely unrelated, but girls that work at strip clubs, they dance naked, and then they have to give all of their money to the bouncers and the security guards, and like they have to give all that money that they made to other people.
All of it?
They have to split all of the money that they made at the strip club. They have to split it with like the bouncers, the owners of the club. They have to
I never knew this. This is unfair. They're the ones shaking their
They're
butts.
shaking their booties.
So how much do they get paid? Do they get paid from the? Okay, but do they get paid from the strip club?
No.
So they're basically making a wage for everyone.
It's really messed up.
Oh no! Don't be a stripper,
Don't
girls.
be a stripper.
Get your education.
You would think that you would make a lot of money, but it depends on where you are. Like in like the United States, it depends on what city you're in and what the rules are. But in most places, you're gonna go up there, you're gonna show it all, and then you have to tip out the security guards, the bussers that are working like the tables, the waiters.
Have you ever? You never wear a stripper, right?
No.
You know so many specifics on this. Thank God.
I only know people that were like shot girls and stuff at strip clubs. And they've told
You knew
me,
the ones that dump the drinks and go.
and they put them.
But they don't get anything for that either.
They get tips also, but it's like, unless it's a cash tip.
Can you get fired for hiding some of the money?
That like unless it's a cash tip that you can hide. The girls that are like strippers at a strip club, they don't make enough money unless they've been there for a long time.
The shot girls either.
The shot girls, you can probably hide the money if it's cash. If
This
it's
is
like
terrible.
extra money.
Best thing
But
to
it's
do
like-
is to go to school, y'all, and get you a freaking job, a regular job, because they're ripping you girls off. If you're
They
taking
are.
your boobs out
Your
and throwing
boobs
your
are
butt
out.
around,
You're
you gotta
throwing-
deal with these nasty
You're
fools
throwing
touching
it out.
you.
And then they're like, okay, give me my cut of your body.
Right. You're basically making the whole club payment.
Exactly. It's just messed up. All of it's very, very messed up.
So there you go.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. So we went from the extreme of strippers to the driving through a drive-through, and if I was at I feel sorry for strippers. Now that I know this, if I was ever at a strip
you
club,
have to pay out.
I would wait till
everybody.
they left and give them their tip while they're driving away. Even though they didn't do the dance for me, I could care less if they did the dance. I just feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But
that's not life.
this is like very sad because there's always somebody on top trying to take what you have.
It's called capitalism. It's disgusting, and that's why I'm moving to Europe.
No, you're not.
Oh.
Cause then how are you gonna see your mom?
You have to come visit me. You gotta come see me.
Oh my gosh. No, it's too far. Do they don't tip in Europe?
They do. They tip
do?
in Europe. Yeah, I'm going there. But
So
Europe
bottom line
is better because they pay people more to do
That's
things.
good. So bottom line is, you guys, tipping through drive-through, or is that a yay or a nay?
No.
Thumbs down.
Why are we paying people in the drive-through to tip? Like, no.
Tipping in restaurants, thumbs up or thumbs down?
In restaurants, always. Yes.
Always. Tipping in strip clubs?
Yes.
Yes, to
Tip
help.
them because they're gonna have to.
But wait till they go outside so they can really get their money. Tipping in, where else do we tip? Tipping at Starbucks.
Sometimes, depending on how good your drink is, / how good the person is that is taking your order.
And if the line's short and they don't have tube when you get up there.
Tude. Don't give them. Don't receive tude.
Tipping at Disneyland where you pay millions of dollars to
Stop
get in.
tipping Joffreys. I tip them every time. They're so rich now.
This is like ridiculous. No tipping at Joffrey's, y'all. She went there 8 times and tipped every time. Y'all need to take a picture and be like, okay, this is the time I tipped, and then scroll through that picture and be like, oh, there she goes. She tipped for today. You know,
I
like
tip
you don't have to
Joffrey's
tip
a lot.
like 8 times if you visited 8 times.
Also, the line is so long there.
Can you imagine the money they're bringing in?
They're bringing in.
Not only did you pay to get in Disney, then you bought the ears, then you took pictures there, then you rode all the rides, you had to get Fast Pass, then you have to tip Joffrey's like 8 times just to get a drink. No, it's just...
And I wasn't even ordering coffee, mind you. I was not even ordering coffee.
Let's get an opinion from the Peanut Gallery.
The peanut gallery.
Chris or Brandon, would you like to rise up and come?
And talk about tipping.
And tell us what you think about tipping.
I got a strategy. Y'all wanna hear my strategy?
Really quick.
No.
What's my strategy?
Oh, he got some ends.
Alright, so
Wait, you gotta hit the camera, so you gotta stand between us, because it's only certain. Go down some too, because it's like. Oh no, get the chair. Chica, stop.
go sit.
Chica's an attack dog, y'all. Don't ever come over because she'll chew your legs off.
That's
Alright.
true.
They can't, can you see him?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he needs to come over a little bit more.
Excuse me.
So the strategy is you put the money on the table, and then when they come by, you let them know. Be like, hey, look, this right here, this is the money you're gonna get for your service.
No.
And if you do a
I
terrible
already
job,
disagree.
I'm gonna take money away.
No, don't do no.
Why you don't think it's a good strategy?
I think that it's a lie, and I am not a fan of that.
It kind of gives them high hopes, though, huh?
I mean, yeah, you know, they're gonna be like, wow, I get
but
this.
what if we don't have cash?
Well,
Then you know what's gonna happen? If somebody puts cash on the table and takes away things every single time.
Yeah, it's just kind of
It's
weird.
not every single time. It's like, all right.
Okay, do the example
All
one
right,
more
look,
time
look,
so she can get it.
Look, let me see. So, someone brings you a drink. Oh, you did a great job. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
So then they get one of them?
No, it's just like you just leave it. You know what I'm saying? But then, like, if you're like, hey, excuse me, and they see you and they keep walking, you're like, oh, well, dang, that's kind of rude.
But do you let them see you take it away? You don't want to tell them to the end. Do you think you should tell them up front? I don't think so.
I feel like
I think then they're going to start being a jerk to you.
I don't think they're going to be a jerk. I think if you say, hey, look, this is how much money I have right now.
Have you ever been a server before?
And if, you know.
No. Have you?
Exactly.
I used to wait.
If somebody did that to a server,
I know. Once they did the pull out, that would be it.
Also, let me tell you, if somebody put a stack of cash on the table when I started serving the table, let me tell you how hard I would ignore that table completely for the entire day.
I think you just justified the taking away of the money, man, because you just.
Then he would take it away from you, and you would
Go ahead and take it away.
From his standards, you would get zero.
You get those servers who look at you and they immediately be like, oh well, that's not going to be a popping table, so I don't really have to serve them.
Right.
And then you get.
Have you ever been a server?
I've dated servers. They
It doesn't matter.
They'll be like that table.
He literally just said, I've never been a server. And then he said, sometimes they look at you and they say, I'm not doing that. Anything that anyone says, this guy says the opposite of.
Man, this
Let me tell you right now.
How about we're going to do a real life experiment and I want to take you on a date. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take you on a date and we're going to go to a restaurant and we're going to have, we could go 2 restaurants, 2. We're going to let you do your server, how you feel like the best way to get customer service, and then I'm going to do mine. And we're going to see which one works.
It's not. The fact that you said, it's not. Look, he doesn't even want to let me talk because he's scared. Anyway, he said, let me see the best way to get customer service. No, there is no best way to get customer service. As a server, as a former server, treat them the way that you want to be treated. Guess what? You're going to get treated very well.
True.
It's not, let me treat this customer service person the way that, like
what do you think of my analogy of it? You know how I am. I'll write the person a list if they're horrible.
If they're horrible,
I do that. She don't do that, but she still tips them no matter if their dog crap to her.
They get 20% no matter what. Because
she's like so
you
crazy.
know why? Because
I will literally write them a list like everything they messed up. I don't care, but they like dog. Yes, they're gonna do this again. They're gonna say I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
They're gonna say I don't care because this girl named Zahara is gonna give me a 20% tip regardless.
No, they make $2 an hour.
I really don't care at this point if they're rude.
If they're rude, obviously, no.
No, why are you giving us? It's not alcohol. It's a big
lying? I mean,
but I really agree with you on that. You're reinforcing the behavior if you give them 20%.
I'm agreeing with this man.
I have a thing that goes down my back when they sit up here and argue with me. That's something you just do not do.
No, I agree. I don't want them to argue with me. I completely agree with that.
Stupid stuff like, can I have some more water? I just gave you some. Like really? We get this out here, not where you are. We get this out here.
And there you go. That's the difference. You're out here in the ratchet rouge.
Right.
And you got
Brandon, we get something like that, huh? Don't they say, we fill up your cup. You get a full cup of water. Can I have some more water? I thought I just filled yours up. Wow, you drink fast. They will say stuff like that, huh?
Definitely.
I don't get that.
They want like where you're at. If you go to Ruth Chris or like Jay Alexander's, they won't do that. However, if you go to, you say you just want to go to a regular place.
Don't go to Taco Bell.
No. But we're not getting service on Taco Bell. They ask for tips though too, I think now at Taco Bell. But if you go to let me see, let me find a standard place.
We went to Chipotle today, and like they were like, we need exact change, and we're like, well, you can just keep the change.
Oh, that is very Baton Rouge. I went to go pick up my lunch today at Panetta's, and I was like, here's $2.20s. My total was like 27 something. And the guy was like,
I don't have change.
he was like, do you have like a 5? And I was like, no, I have a card in my car though. I can go get the card if you want. And he was like, no, it's fine. I have change. And then he like he got his own personal wallet and was going through his own wallet to get change for me.
See that guy deserves a tip. Like that's fire.
But
you know what I'm saying?
at the same time, that same place was like, when I called and I ordered my food to go, they said, just so you know, would you get extra 20% gratuity on
See,
all
oh my gosh, like what are you
orders?
doing? Like telling them that in advance.
To-go orders, 20%.
Oh
And
no,
I was
it's
like,
gotten crazy. That's what we're talking about, how tipping's gotten out of control.
But then, like, how can you're not even doing anything. You're
Right.
just not my food. I'm paying you 20%.
Yes, and I was
It's,
like,
and they're letting you know this in advance before you get there, mind you.
yes.
I think it has a lot to do with COVID
It's
too.
COVID.
COVID has made everything go insane.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're not making any money. Let's add more charges.
And what about Pluckers? That's what I want to say. Like someplace like Pluckers, you ask for some more water, the girls are like, okay, hold on.
I don't go.
And they never come back.
So in that example, you take away some dollars. You know.
Or they say, it's like, or you say,
Anytime you like visibly take away dollars,
that's gonna piss them
that's
off.
gonna make
I'm
them
telling you right now,
they're not
gonna
gonna
want to
do.
do nothing.
It's not gonna happen.
If I see it leave, I'm gonna get mad. I never was a server, but I worked in fast food places. When I worked there in the 1800s, we never asked for tips. We got our $3.75 an hour, and that was it.
Hi, Mark.
So, anyway, let's bring this guy in here really quick.
I think
he's the
Mark.
worst tipper ever. Come here, we're talking about tipping. Before we end, we want to get one more person's opinion.
Mark.
Sir, can you come in here for a second? Hurry up, Mark Henson.
Marky Mark, can you please come?
Sit right here. We would like to ask you 2 questions, and then you're done.
First of all, I love your outfit, sir.
Thank you.
And I love your Crocs.
Okay, but we're talking about tipping today, guy. So, can you tell us how much you tip on a bill at a nice fancy restaurant that would just like do the percentage wise, like 10%, 15%,
Or do you leave
20%?
it? Or do you leave it blank so that like one of us can just go ahead and fill it in for you?
Well, most of my life I was a small tipper. I was never a big tipper. If I went to a high-end restaurant, they might get about $15. If I went to
That's not true. He gives $2, sometimes $5.
If I go to like I'm talking,
Until recently.
and what on average probably about $5.
Yeah, yes, he's true. We have gone to really when I first met him, he said, I want to take you to Ruth Chris. I was like, oh, this man is so fancy, hey. So I went to Ruth Chris. This man tipped the people like $5. I was so embarrassed.
Hey, I'm
He said, dang, look, the bill came, and he was like, dang. I said, oh my God. And then he was like, I'm not giving this tip after all this. I was like, oh my God.
You just sounded just like Mark.
I know. I've been with him so long. I know him. But now if he tips bad, I always
give them 6.
Well, now if he
Instead
tips,
of buying
Zahar, me and you always slide money in under his stuff. I do that all the time. Recently we went to Jay Alexander's. I think he gave the person like $10 on a like $100 and something bill, and I was like, oh no, I had to slide.
I think I give them like $15 or something like that.
Something, but I had to.
Maybe give them another 10, I think.
I was like, I had to slide more money. I always go by y'all comment below if you have to go behind your man and slide extra money up under there because they're cheap. Anyway, on that note, thanks for another.
I think it's time for women to start sliding us some money.
No, I don't.
Where did this come from?
I've never
We're talking
heard
about
that.
tipping, not slide men money.
Men don't deserve money.
They don't. They really don't. They get everything.
They do.
That's cap
So
talk.
why would we give them money too?
They have so many other things.
They get it all.
Why do they also need money? And sunlight. And water.
You gotta be in the dark. No water.
I think I've been set up
water.
on this one here.
On that note, thank you for Brent, Mark.
And oxygen.
Mark, on that note, I really appreciate your whole thoughts on that. It helped to this tipping community.
Thank you, Mark Henson. We love you.
All right.
And that's why I bought him a massager for Christmas.
Yeah. That's her stepdad, you guys.
Thanks, stepdaddy Mark.
On that note, you guys, we're going to end this video. Thank you for, watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All of that. And follow Zahara on Instagram.
It's Zahara. Zahara.
Don't forget. Don't forget to follow him on Loudegange Animals, Duck. And don't forget to follow me on Loudegange at LoudegangeMom. Loudegange.mom.
At Loudegange.mom.
Loudegange.mom.
And don't forget to follow Mark on Instagram as well.
Mark does not have an Instagram.
He might though.
He has a private one. He wants no one to follow him.
Exactly.
Don't follow Mark on Instagram.
Oh, don't forget to follow Brandon at A.O. Perry. Come back and say your thing, Brandon. A.O. Perry.
AOL.com.
If you want more great
You have to go under.
If you want more great tips, follow AO.Perry.
Yeah, on tipping.
Follow AIM.
And follow Emily.
Emily don't need followers. She has too many.
She needs more.
Emily underscore
Get
ears.
Emily over 2 million and
then we're
Zahara's
doing another video on this.
Yeah, and Zahara's gonna eat some brown chocolate.
What?
Yeah. Oh wow.
Chocolate. She's gonna eat the big Hershey's Kiss.
Casca?
The Kiss Cat?
Oh my gosh. You too. Cut. All right, y'all. So anyway, y'all don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe. I'm gonna have more videos coming for y'all. I love y'all. You know, Moms loves you, and she is out.
Charlie
Here I come
out.